You're listening to FUBAR Weekly on KDSR, Demo Spin Radio, brought to you by ARC Network Live 365, the station where everyone deserves to be heard. The following program contains strong language and adult content. Listener discretion is advised. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Goddamn right, Bill O'Reilly. Fucking thing does suck. Everything sucks. The world sucks. And only if you ask it nicely. Ladies and gentlemen, FUBAR Weekly Show. Tuesday nights, we do this. This is the 13th of August. My lovely co-host and vicious bitch, Nicole Raven.
Hi.
Hi. She throws up a peace sign as I call her a vicious bitch. I love it. So to explain what I mean by vicious bitch, you're not really vicious. You're actually absolutely sweet and adorable. And she won the roast battle that we had at Del Mar this past Sunday. I had a whole bunch of people got acute cases of vaginitis and they pussed out, some last minute. So fuck all those people. But Nicole was awesome enough to jump right the fuck in. And not only did she jump in last minute, but she had to go up against me. And I'm known to be a vicious dick. She beat me and went on to win the whole fucking thing.
I felt really bad about it.
Why?
I just did.
Point the microphone towards your mouth, goddammit.
Is it not there?
You like pointed at your nose. You got to point it towards your mouth.
I've been told I have a nasally voice, so that's why.
Oh, so you pointed at your nose. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so we had a bunch of people dropped out, and I went up against Mark Sulka right out of the gate. Mark did a great job. Mark did a great job the whole night since we had people drop out. Mark ended up going up like 4 times.
Yeah.
You went up like 3 or 4 times. And, Nicole just kept fucking beating ass. She just fucking killed everybody.
I went through all the jokes that I had written on purpose pretty quickly. So like the last half was just made up shit.
And what's funny is I tried to rig the first round. Like I didn't really want to win. Like I really didn't, because I wanted Mark to go on ahead. I was just kind of filling in. So I even said to the judges, like as they're deciding, I'm like, you can have Mark win. It's cool. But they said I beat him. And I think my jokes were, I was definitely funny. He broke out the props. So he made a bunch of pictures of me, like as if I was coming out my own line of action figures. He was making fun of my Facebook pictures, which was awesome. And then he did one. He actually blew up a picture of my face to life size and made it into a mask. And it was creepy.
That was so creepy. He left those there.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I noticed at the end he still had his like folder like on the stage. And then part of me wanted to take them. They probably are in the trash, long gone now.
Why would you want to keep? I mean, aside from the fact that it's me and I'm gorgeous and awesome, but why?
I just wanted the mask.
You wanted the mask?
Just that.
You wanted Mike to put it on while you guys... You wanted to wear it while you guys...
No.
Womp, womp.
I just like creepy. I just like creepy shit. You know that?
Nothing you said that night hurt my feelings. That just hurt my feelings. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I guess if Mike really wants me to wear a Roger mask.
Creepy. I gotta say, it was, it was so hard going up against Nicole. Like I have no problem with going up against anybody and being nasty and really just ripping apart anybody. I have no problem. I had such a tough time going against Nicole.
We're being honest. I had to like hold back, not because of like I thought I was going to hurt your feelings. I didn't want to like say too much.
What do you mean?
Just like in general.
Like say things that I don't want to be said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like in general.
Not much, but
I know. But like stuff about like your day job. I know we don't talk about that and whatever. Like stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that I thought of that I'm like, I can't say that. I shouldn't say that. Whatever.
Yeah, I actually felt bad because I made a joke about Nicole's boobs. That was not nice.
I loved it.
You loved it.
That was
You know what's funny? And I meant to tell you. So what I said to her was, because Nicole, I don't know if you can see from that angle, Nicole doesn't have huge tits. Okay,
nope.
She does not.
I shop in the children's section.
Well, it's going because you're like fucking 3 feet tall.
I meant for undergarments.
But really?
For the top half sometimes, yeah.
Oh wow. So, but anyway, so I made a joke that, you know, I apologized on Nicole's behalf that she got dressed in a hurry and forgot her tits in her other shirt, which was funny. But I don't know if you realized, you know, I made that joke twice that night.
I didn't hear the first time.
Yes, you did. You had to have, because I said it to you as I was standing outside, as we were standing in front barking. This girl walked past who was good looking. She just had no boobs.
Yeah.
And I turned to you and I said, she must have gotten dressed in a hurry. She forgot her tits in her other shirt. So you probably didn't hear me.
I actually didn't know.
But I made that joke to you earlier in the night about somebody else.
Who was it? What was that joke that I said wasn't original? I feel bad now.
I don't know.
It doesn't remember. Doesn't matter.
I got to be honest with you. I do not remember a single joke that anyone said to me, aside from Mark having the props. Like, I don't remember any of them.
Okay. Well.
I don't retain them. I don't need to retain them. It's like, I don't know. It's weird.
Today I was at a sex store passing out some flyers.
Here's my shocked face.
Whatever. They had stress balls.
Yeah.
Like balls. Balls, yeah.
Somebody posted those on Facebook and said we need a set for our desk.
I'm gonna buy it. I thought about buying you that instead, but I bought you the lighter instead. I just saw the desk today's.
So this flyer that Nicole gave me, coming soon, submission, South Beach invades Tampa.
Yeah.
It says the same thing on both sides.
Yeah, it's going to be Saturday, October 5th at NYKL. And we got...
see, this is what confuses me. All right, coming soon, submission, South Beach invade, but there's no contact, no way to get any information.
I know, it's a teaser flyer.
It's the same thing on both sides.
It's a teaser flyer. It's a teaser flyer so people can start like looking it up online and whatever.
Yeah, but with nothing, like not a website or anything, I would just like look at this and be like, whoever made this is a fucking moron.
I did not make it.
I know.
I did not make it.
I know, because you would fucking...
Who, what, when, where, why, and how.
So whoever did this, step up your game, man. Seriously. Although I do like the cartoon chick with the big titties.
That is based off of a girl named Carla.
Okay.
The image is based off of a real person named Carla.
Cool.
Who she now lives in Austin.
Does she have giant hooters like that?
No, she doesn't actually.
Really?
She's like me, but like smaller probably because she's skinny too. But her face that's her face.
Okay. Right.
I think the body is somebody else's body, but her face is definitely hers.
Whatever. It's adorable. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. I have no... I don't know if anybody's chatting. Hi. I'll put that up. Oh, shit. There we go. It finally woke up. So now I got it. Okay, so on today's show, a little later on, Frank Melloni from Renaissance Firearms Instruction is going to be calling in, and we're going to be talking about guns. A couple of my favorite things right there. Guns, boomsticks, firecracker, go boom.
Do you think that the internet is going to boot us off because of it?
Probably, but it's worth it.
Okay.
It's all right. Frank is an expert in his field. He is a very knowledgeable individual, knows his shit. So we will be talking to him, getting some information. Everybody pick you butts.
Everybody pick you butts.
Okay. Thank you, Jander.
Is that in a request?
I don't know. I'm not.
Or is that a...
Or is that like, everybody pick your butts? Oh, sorry. Everybody crap your pants.
That's how I was thinking. Is that a request?
I don't know.
Is it saying like everybody?
No, it's like everybody.
Everybody.
So Frank's gonna be calling in a little while, and we'll talk to him. We'll get some good information, and we'll laugh a little bit. I don't want it to be too serious.
Are you gonna ask him 120 questions?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
Probably not, but I got a bunch of things I'm gonna ask him about, and we'll talk about that. So there's that. There was something else. Oh, I found out today this past Sunday show at Del Mar is the last show. I guess the
last show of what?
The last show at Del Mar. The owner doesn't want to keep doing it, and him and Dick aren't. The
last open mic show?
Yeah. Aww. They're not going to do that anymore. That's all right.
I wanted to hear more from Eric.
Who's Eric?
That random guy who went on stage.
The guy that invited on stage.
Yeah,
and that was awesome.
And then got kicked off by accident.
So do you know what the backstory with that is? Like why Dick flipped out? Apparently, so during the roast, after me and Nicole went against each other, we kind of fired our jokes off real quick, and like the host wasn't ready. So I invited I said, to the crowd, whoever wants to come up and roast me, come on up. And this older dude who looked like he definitely drank a whole lot of PBR today, comes up and the first one he did, I don't remember what he said, but it was kind of funny. And then he went into this like really long-winded one about going fishing or something. And he didn't get to finish, and Dick saw him on stage, and Dick flipped out. So what was the big deal with that? Other than he wasn't on the competition? Because he's crashed the stage before. He's actually just gone up and grabbed the microphone. Dick didn't know I invited him up.
Well, we didn't know any better.
Yeah. Well, again, I still stand by it. I don't give a shit, but that's why Dick flipped it. Dick didn't know that Dick's got to get his shit together, Damn Dick. What else? There's something else I want to talk about. I want to mention happy first or second day of school to all you Central Florida folk.
Woohoo!
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's not Halloween yet.
I actually would say it's the most wonderful time, but my kids down here in Florida, they have what they call the school choice program. So if you're not like the schools, the middle and high school that we're zoned for where we live are actually shitty. So we choice them into better schools. The downside is the district doesn't provide transportation, so I have to drive them. So while it's the most wonderful time of the year where they're going back to school, I spend 4 hours a day just driving them to school, to and from school, like going, waiting. It's stupid.
That is terrible.
Yeah. They don't know how much their dad loves them.
They will when they start driving.
Fucking better.
That time's coming up for Raj soon.
Here's the thing, though. He turns 15 next year. He can get his learner's permit, but unless he starts showing some responsibility and paying attention, and he's too much of a risk.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
I wouldn't have let myself drive at 15 either.
Yeah.
So
as soon as I was able to get my permit, I got my permit. I started driving, learning to drive right away. Took driver's ed, and I'm a very good driver. I clocked 300 miles since yesterday, just driving around Tampa Bay.
And I was actually just thinking, how when you on your not your speedometer, your odometer, there's two different settings. There's like a trip meter, and then the ultimate one, the big one, the whatever. Anyway, I was just thinking that I get just over 300 miles to my tank. And on Saturday, I was like, oh, look, it says exactly 200. And then today I hit exactly 100 more miles before I have to go get more gas.
Okay.
And I was just like, that's interesting. It's taken me since Saturday to drive 100 miles.
I drove 100 miles this afternoon. Kelly Mueller's watching. Kelly hosted the roast battle.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. She did a great job.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if you guys are typing in questions. For some reason, I cannot see them.
Let's see if I can see something.
Yeah. I can see who's popping. I can see, people popping up, but I don't see anybody asking questions. So I don't know if nobody wants to talk to us or what.
We don't smell that bad.
Yeah. I mean, I might. I don't know when the last time I showered was. I don't know.
So I uninstalled Facebook from my phone a while back. And so every week I've been just logging onto the website on the browser. But lately it's been telling me that I can't watch our video on the browser. I have to download the app.
That's some baby back bullshit.
It is. And then today I typed in facebook.com and it took me to the Google page of Facebook and advertising Facebook to me. It's very fucked up.
That's stupid.
Facebook, you don't need to advertise to me.
Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, wait, no. Don't do that because I don't want you to shut my video off. Yeah, seriously. I mean, I got a bunch of people watching, but nobody's talking, or I can't see. I just don't know which it is.
There we go. Oh, there's my memories from today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything good?
Yes. A year ago, we did our second New Connections.
Woot woot.
I think.
No, it was first. First New Connections was August.
Yes. Sorry. My friend is promoting it. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's see. A year ago, I became friends with Stephen Lowley.
Nice. Me too.
2 years ago, I posted about a Zero Waste Daniel, which is a clothing line that takes upcycled items and fabric scraps and makes clothes out of them.
Nice.
4 years ago, Nope, that's even longer. I don't know how long ago this picture was. This is from 2011, and I performed at the Tattoo Expo.
Nice. Let's see if I have any good ones.
My mom says she can't comment on our Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
That might be why.
A couple years ago, I learned something about. 4 years ago, I learned something about caterpillars. You want to learn what I learned?
What'd you learn?
Somebody asked, so do like caterpillars know that they're going to be butterflies, or do they just build the cocoon and be like, what the fuck am I doing? And then somebody answered, it says, this post has me fucked up in more ways than any other site. It says, okay, do you understand that what happens to a caterpillar once it's a cocoon? Apparently, it turns completely into goo, and the thing dissolves and then reforms into a butterfly. The wings of the butterfly are already inside the caterpillar, ready to go, just waiting to float around in some goo and then be a beautiful butterfly. The craziest part is a study was done where some caterpillars were exposed to a certain smell and then given an electric shock. So eventually the caterpillars associated the smell with the shock. Well, after they reemerged as butterflies, they exposed them to the same smell and they reacted negatively as if they remember being shocked. So the thing is that the wings are already inside the caterpillars, floating around, like waiting to be made. And, but even though it completely basically disintegrates into goo, it reforms and it still remembers its life pre-goo.
Nice.
So that's interesting to me.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So we can see comments on the on my watch party, but not on the regular post, which is fucking weird.
Oh, if I was performing at the Tattoo Expo in 2011, that also means that in 2011 on this day I got my butt tattoo.
Nice. I didn't know you had a butt tattoo, but okay.
I just have a little heart.
Aw.
It's just a little heart on my bum.
Aw.
And apparently 9 years ago today, because it must have been a Friday the 13th. 9 years ago, I wrote somewhere out there today, someone who called out of work because they came down with triskaidekaphobia.
Nice.
Which is the fear of the number 13. Yeah. So,
Kelly, to answer your question, this is your first time watching. Don't worry, we'll be gentle. You just chime in with what we're talking about. In a little while, we're gonna have a firearms expert calling in. Gentleman has been on the show Top Shot on the History Channel. I got to be honest. I don't have cable TV. I don't watch TV, so I don't even know how he did. Like I've known Frank for a very long time. He's a stand-up dude, not a stand-up comedian, just a good dude. Yeah, I don't know how he did, but he was on the History Channel's Top Shot. He's an expert in the world of firearms. The picture. I don't know if you saw the promo picture I put up.
I did not. I'm sorry.
It is him, and I'm going to ask him about it. It's him holding a baseball bat covered in barbed wire.
Oh,
while
yeah.
Stuffing a sandwich in his face.
I did see that.
And I don't know what I'm more intrigued about, the barbed wire covered bat or the sandwich, just because I like sandwiches.
Maybe it was maybe it's a club sandwich.
Oh, I see what you did. Okay, now I can. Okay, your mom says she can comment. Hi, Mom.
Hey.
I don't know who else is watching. Dale Conklin, Zobo, Jay Flood, Y2J Blowski. Lila Bell. Hi.
Today I was driving around Tampa.
Yeah.
And I saw a guy who was plugged in to he himself wasn't plugged in. He had an electric guitar and an amp just plugged into like a street sign. And he was rocking the fuck out on the corner.
Where?
Downtown Tampa off like 275 and K Street.
Okay.
Ish. And he had a big sign that said his Instagram name, but I didn't remember it now. I don't remember it now.
You have to go back there to see if he's there. I love that. I love street performers. Like I have no problem giving a few bucks to somebody playing music in the street, and especially if they're good. Like I would rather see somebody doing that and using some sort of a talent to try and make money than somebody just sitting there with a sign saying, "Give me money."
100%, I agree.
Absolutely. The one guy I do give money to all the time is a guy right by Penn Station that's got a sign that says, "I need money for hookers, drugs, and booze. At least I'm not bullshitting you." That dude gets a $5 every time.
There's a guy in Ybor who has a sign that says, "Will solve Rubik's Cube for $1."
Oh fuck yeah! I'd give him $5 if he can do it quick.
Yeah, he does. He goes.
My friend's son's like that, man. He's really smart kid. He'll just like done. Meanwhile, I'm like, I have one that next to my chair at home. And I'll like watch YouTube videos on how to solve it, and I'll like start doing it, and then I'll just get bored and throw the fucking thing.
I always get one side and then I give up because I know that all the other sides are messed up. And then once I try to mess up the other sides, whatever, it's gonna go all down the drain.
Kelly says the barbed wire bat is from The Walking Dead. Thank you for letting me know because I've watched one episode of The Walking Dead and it was bothering me that everybody's lawn was mowed. So I won't watch it again.
What's up, Coral? Sorry. That was a bad joke because I don't watch Walking Dead either.
Anytime I see something like that annoys me about something, I won't watch it. Like one of the reasons why I don't like Star Trek and Star Wars is you can't tell me that what's called the Goldilocks zone, where how far a planet can be from a star, so it has the perfect atmosphere for life.
Yeah,
you can't tell me that every planet in the Goldilocks zone that has life has the same atmosphere where you can go out and not have to wear protection against radiation, or the air is correct. Life is fragile, so it would die quickly if it's not perfect.
Human life is fragile. They found like fungus on Mars.
Well, yeah.
Humans are we're little babies. We're little grown-up babies compared to like animals and shit. So.
Your mom says, well, if they're walking, somebody probably just put a mower in front of them. That's fucking brilliant. That's brilliant, actually. Actually, what probably happened is the goats got loose and kept it mowed down.
I watched a documentary on a farm in Homestead that has that saves animals. What are you shitting at?
Lilabelle says, my favorite was a double amputee holding a sign that said, give me money or I'll kick your ass. I would give that guy money. Totally. Like, if you make me laugh, like if you're on the street and you make me laugh, definitely will give you money.
I want to try to post up somewhere outside and with like a little bullshit PA system and be like, I'll tell you a joke for $1 and see how many people do it.
Okay.
Or I don't know, I'll make you laugh for $1 or something.
No. Just say I'll tell you a joke, because if make me laugh, they'll intentionally not laugh or just not find you funny.
That's true, I guess.
So just I'll tell you a joke.
I'll tell you a joke for $1.
And then you start off. So family walks into a talent agent's office and says, "We have the act for you." That's the aristocrats. Usually when I tell that joke, I lose people after the first minute and a half. Chris Johnson, what's up, dude? Yeah.
Oh, so the point that I was saying was that they have rescued animals and they have them in different like fenced in areas. So sometimes they have to rotate the animals, and the camels are the ones that eat the most grass. So when they need them lawn mowed, they put the camels in that pen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And they can clear out like a 200 square foot area of tall, like 8-foot grass in like a day.
I'm weird. I don't watch TV, but I'll watch a shitload of stupid YouTube videos.
Same.
And I watched a video that was a time lapse of like a half a dozen goats mowing a backyard. Like they just put goats out in this overgrown backyard and you just watch it over a couple days. They mow the whole thing down nice.
I want a goat.
I want a goat in my backyard so I don't have to mow it anymore. I fucking hate mowing my back lawn.
There is somebody in my neighborhood that has a goat, I think. I hear it. I don't know where it is though.
Nice. I got to find out if I can have a goat and get away with it, because I would totally do it just to piss my neighbor off.
I think you can.
Because fuck that guy.
There's nothing wrong with having a goat.
Well, I live in an HOA community.
You probably can't have a goat.
Yeah. You
probably also can't have a rabbit or a pig or a flamingo or an alligator.
Well, the rabbit I already had, but it died. Well,
I'm just saying, like, a lot of times they say that, like, you can't have anything other than a cat or a dog. And be like, my fish and my hamster don't count, but okay.
Then I'll start getting a whole bunch of pit bulls.
Oh, no. Just kidding. Tried to download Facebook. It's yelling at me again.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Fuck the Zuck. Yeah.
Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. That's what this is for.
Yeah. So. A couple other things I wanted to talk about before we got into Frank stuff. He'll be calling in momentarily.
So if I have a booth at FetCon next year, what should I sell? Costumes, obviously. Promoting services,
so
obviously.
Not hand jobs. Gotcha. Okay.
No, it's out in public. I also don't sell hand jobs.
Okay. Well,
I'm not very good at them. I get really bored really easily.
Have you ever heard of Garfunkel and Oates?
Yes, I love them.
Have you ever heard their song Hand Job, Bland Job, I Don't Understand Job?
No, but I heard College Try and also Fuck Me in the Ass because that's the hole that Jesus doesn't see.
That's right. That's actually Fuck Me in the Ass because I Love Jesus.
Either way.
The actual name of that song is God's Loophole.
Yes, exactly.
So check out Garfunkel and Oates. Why can't I talk? You know what it is? Because I'm exhausted.
What was the name of the song you just told me about?
God's Loophole.
No. The hand job, bland job.
I forget what it's actually called. It's like hand job, bland job. I don't understand job. Do I spit? Do I squeeze? Wait, what the hell? I can't try to remember the lyrics. It's fucking hilarious. I want to play it so bad, but I know I'll get a fucking copyright strike.
From Garfunkel and Oates? I don't think they'd care.
No, it's not them. It's whoever
Owns
manages their
them.
licensure.
Right.
Because, everybody's got to be a fucking Nazi. Yeah. What the hell? I can't remember the lyrics of this, but it's so fucking funny. And Chris Hardwick is in the video.
I don't know who that is.
He had a bunch of shows on MTV, Singled Out, a bunch of like stupid game shows and shit on MTV back in the day. Way back in the day. Back when MTV would take a break from playing music to have silly shows instead of
The other way
playing
around.
fucking stupid reality shows. Yeah.
I was
Stan, what's up? Stan the man. Everybody check out Open Mic Live every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Check them out.
I was more of a VH1 girl myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I loved on VH1? You know what I miss from VH1? Pop-up video. Oh my God, yes.
Pop-up video.
Pop-up video. I used to love that.
I liked it too because I like random trivia.
That and Behind the Music.
Oh,
I used to
yeah.
like
That shit was depressing though sometimes.
Some of them, yeah. The one the one show that I always loved, and they didn't do too many of them, was MTV Unplugged, and Nirvana is still the fucking best.
I have that CD. I have the Nirvana MTV Unplugged CD.
Okay.
It's really good. There's a bunch of songs that they covered that probably never made it to CDs, anything like that.
I have a feeling this is Frank calling in a few minutes early. Whoop. Hang on. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can fucking hear you.
Where are you? Like in the swamp in Florida?
No, I'm low budget as fuck, so I run you on speakerphone.
I gotcha. How's that? Any better? Where I'm at?
You're good. You're good.
Cool, man. Hey, how's it going, man? Long time.
Yeah, man. It's definitely been a long time. I was saying that everybody, this is Frank Melloni from Renaissance Firearms Instruction. I've known Frank since before Renaissance was even a thought.
Oh, dude. Oh, geez. You knew me since before I was old enough to drink at the bar that I actually worked in for like 10 years. That's how long me and Roger go back. We know the worst versions of each other, actually.
I was thinking about you may have actually been present the night I met my wife.
Probably. Yeah. I mean,
probably were.
I worked there. Let's see. I started there when I was 15 or 37. We're talking, like 20 something years ago.
Holi shit, you're old.
Yeah. Doesn't that suck?
That's crazy.
I see you're the only person I know with less hair than me right now. That's good news.
Well, hang on. This is I shave it. So.
Right. Yeah, me too.
I mean, my hairline has creeped back a little bit, though. That is a fact.
Nicole, nice to meet you.
It's nice
Sorry
meeting you
Roger.
too. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, of course. Roger's the perfect example of somebody that defected down to Florida. You see, everything in New York, when we flush, it goes to Jersey. And every once in a while, Jersey flushes and it winds up in Florida.
Oh, fuck you. Holy shit.
You're in good shape there.
That may have been one of the most insulting things anyone's ever said. And anytime somebody asks me, "Oh, are you from Jersey?" Fuck you. No.
I get Boston once in a while. I'm like, nah.
Well, you know what it is, growing up in Suffolk County where we grew up, there was some of that, especially on the North Shore. There was some New England influence.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, definitely, especially out here. I mean, I'm originally from Nassau. My family's from Brooklyn, so I got a really weird accent. But my parents are from Brooklyn, so when I was in the South Shore of Nassau, I kind of had a lot of that come through. And then as you get closer and closer and start dealing with more and more people from Connecticut, that comes through, and you play the whole accent game. Everyone tries to figure out exactly where you're from, and here we are. So you guys want to talk about guns, huh?
Let's talk about some guns.
It just so happens that I like guns, you know, to be surprised.
I've heard you know a thing or two about them.
I do. Funny thing is, you know, like a 15-year stint in the restaurant industry, you just start accumulating guns for some reason. You don't know why.
It's almost like working at the post office.
Yeah, you know, just dealing with the general public. Yeah, but I mean, on a somber note, it's been a very active week in the criminal community involving firearms.
Yep.
And whenever that happens, anytime you know, the law-abiding citizen, anyone that knows a law-abiding citizen has all these questions. And then a little background. Roger already gave me. I was watching the show earlier. I saw you guys were having a problem with comments, but I was trying to get on too. But so I own and operate Renaissance Firearms Instruction. It's a firearms instruction company dedicated to all levels of firearms experience. We do some of the very, very basic stuff, such as easy as how to load a firearm safety, and like test fire a gun before you go buy one, all the way out to long range shooting, defensive shooting, combat handguns, and everything else involved there. And I support the company through a lot of different media outlets. Also, I write for several NRA publications. I write for Athlon Outdoors. It's combat handguns, ballistic, Tactical Life, and just a number of them. I write for On Target Magazine, Gun Digest. So I'm pretty deep involved in the media on the pro gun side. But boy, man, you know, even though we're all considered media peers, man, the media just really botches what guns are and what guns aren't. Well, especially the stuff that comes from countries that have little to no firearms access. You know, like I saw the BBC chart go around. It's actually gained some steam probably about a week after my AR-15 video on YouTube. Anyone that's watching this or listening, check us out on YouTube. There's one particular video we just put up that compares AR-15 rate of fire. And the biggest thing that everyone, the biggest confusion around the AR-15 is that it's a machine gun. It's not a machine gun. That's the number one thing that I try to drive home in that video.
Well, one of the things I was going to talk about were some of the common myths. And, you know, so what you mean to say is AR and AR-15 does not mean assault rifle?
Nope. And it does not mean automatic rifle even. It's the first two letters from anything that came out of the Armalite factory. So during World War II and post World War II, anyone that had machining equipment started making firearms because it was just a necessity. And you'd be surprised. I mean, during World War II, Rockola jukeboxes, GM, the Inland Division, IBM, the same IBM today, a company called National Postal Meter, International Harvester. They made farm equipment and tractors, right? They all started making guns. And that continued all the way through World War II, all the way into the Cold War. Another interesting thing about the AR, it's not new technology. So Fairchild Aircraft, the Engineered Aircraft, they're a airplane manufacturer. They branched off the Armalite light guns, Armalite division, and anything that came out of that factory or that branch of their factory had the AR designation. This way in the books, they can tell if they're looking at an airplane wing or if they're looking at a rifle or pistol. So anything that came out of there that was a firearm had AR in its designation. This included bolt action, single shot type rifles that are still made today. The AR-30, the AR-50, these are single shot. The AR-50 especially only holds one round of ammunition. So it has nothing to do with assault. It doesn't even have anything to do with automatic. And the design is extremely old. We're talking 1959. We're talking the same. We're talking. We actually teach a course like this. It's on Groupon, and it's our busiest course. We teach a few thousand people a year what an AR-15 is, and they get to test fire 5 of them. But when we think about the AR-15, everyone wants to jump right to like Call of Duty and the black rifle and everything, you know, with Picatinny rails and everything hanging off of it. But the truth is, the design is from 1959. So even though everyone wants to place it in like today's modern warfare Call of Duty, it's really more accurate to place it into like the scene when Marty went back in time and Back to the Future, and the malt shop and doo-wop and the 57 Chevy. You know, it is not new technology. It has been around for close to, what's the math on that, 70 years, just about.
Yeah.
So you know,
so what you're trying to say is the AR-47 was not invented by Eugene Kalishnikov in North Korea in 1994. And it's got that designation to kill 47 Western imperialists in one trigger pull.
And one squeeze of the trigger. Absolutely. Yeah, right.
No, and that's one thing I was talking about last week was some of these misconceptions. I had somebody ask me, and you know, you and I really haven't spoken much, but I deal with firearms a lot in my day job, which I don't talk about too much. But somebody had asked me, I posted up, and you saw it, where I put a picture of a standard basic wood furnitured Ruger 10/22, and then one with plastic furnishings and a banana mag. Which one's the assault rifle? And of course, the smart ones jumped on. Oh, they're the same one, you dick. I'm like, I fucking know. You don't have to tell me. But somebody on that brought up a good point about, it depends on the rate of fire. And I looked it up, and I can't remember the guy's name, but just to show a comparison on how fast you can actually shoot. I believe the record for a single action revolver is like just under a second.
Jerry Micklick.
Yes.
Jerry Micklick. I've had the pleasure of shooting with, not with him, but, he was also on Top Shot. He was on season 3 before me. Cliff, I can't think of his last name right now. But he's almost as fast. He can fire and reload his revolver. I shot side by side with him faster than I could fire and reload a semi-automatic pistol.
But yeah, wasn't he? If I remember right, he was able to put 8 shots on target in under a second.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep, without a doubt. And if you watch his videos of him doing it with a gun in each hand too. What's also cool to watch? Look up the Single Action Shooting Society, and these are all the guys that are running cowboy guns. I mean, we're talking they're fanning the hammer on revolvers. They're shooting lever action guns. They sound like machine guns. They shoot them so fast, and those things hold 14 rounds too.
Yeah. So one thing I was gonna
gun control. Where's it gonna end?
Well, one thing I was gonna tell the audience, because the audience, my audience may not be completely well versed. A single action revolver. Every time you pull that trigger, you got to reset the hammer. You got to pull the hammer back, then pull the trigger again. So this guy's firing off 8 rounds in under a second with having to cock in between, and he's putting rounds on target. He's not just spraying fucking.
That's somebody else. Jerry Micklick uses a double action. You just squeeze the trigger.
Yeah,
but there's plenty of cowboy shooters out there that are faster than him.
Yeah, this one that I saw, his name begins with the letter J is coming to my head. I meant to pull it up before we went on, but this guy was able to put to empty a single shot revolver. It was an 8-shot revolver. He was able to empty it in under 1 second while hitting the target, not even just spraying lead.
Yeah. So, I mean, the misconceptions are insane. So, go ahead, shoot. What can I help you guys with? And thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, no problem.
I guess that was our introduction.
Yeah. So that's Frank. No, just a couple questions, revolving that, like, one thing that gets me, you're talking about the media having, a horrible idea of what firearms are. And it really is. One thing that got me was, right after, I think the Las Vegas shooting, I want to say it was CNN had a general on who completely did not know how to operate an AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if you saw that clip.
That's a big misconception that we deal with. All right, so there's plenty of people that carry a gun for a profession or involved in a profession where firearms are related. I tread this very lightly because I have an ultimate amount of respect for our law enforcement and for our military. But plain and simple, there are jobs in both of those professions that barely use a firearm.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of people get into these professions that don't have any interest in firearms. There's another piece of equipment on their belt.
Yeah.
So the fact that someone is tightly related to firearms in their profession, by no means qualifies them as an expert. And now we're talking about a general. I mean, when's the last time this guy had to qualify on a firearm?
Exactly. But that's what really annoyed me about that was the fact that they got this guy. Okay, so they're going to say, he's a general. So automatically your brain is in tune. This guy should know everything. Right. And I mean, to be honest with you,
he's up top. He's making strategy. You want to get somebody, get a gunnery sergeant, get a gunny, get a DI, get a drill instructor.
Yeah. But you could clearly tell this guy probably didn't even have any experience going hunting on the weekends.
Right. And you said it was CNN. CNN did that on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't like to bash one media outlet or another, but I mean.
Oh, it's all right. We could bash them all.
Before you had me on your show, you did some research. You're like, what is Frank all about? I see you post. You did your background check. I mean, you saw what I know and what I don't. Yeah. I mean, and don't get me started. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, you know. A lot of instructors too, you know. I mean, after Sandy Hook, we started our company after Top Shot. I mean, we opened our doors probably about 6 to 8 months before Sandy Hook, and that's when we had our first big large group class, probably about 4 months before that. And after Sandy Hook, firearms instruction became a very popular profession, you know, as a quote unquote side job. And there's a lot of really bad instructors out there. Truth be told, it only takes about a weekend to get certified through certain entities as an instructor. Then you have your insurance and you set up, and really there's very little overhead. So, I mean, we're talking about between the NRA said that they certified more than 10,000 instructors. And I got that number like 3 years ago, since Sandy Hook to then. And there's a lot of unqualified instructors out there.
So, I mean, so what you're trying to tell me is, so what you're trying to say is Voda Consulting is not a reputable firearms training company.
Exactly. I mean, there's my example, you know, and he was a certified instructor, you know, I mean, for any of those tuning in, Voda Consult, if you want to laugh, go to YouTube and search Voda, VODA Consulting, and just watch these guys' videos and cringe. This guy's bad. There's patches out there that they vote a graduate and there's like blood on them.
Oh, Jesus. to give you an example, Nicole, he was doing an instructional segment where he's talking about what to do if you get pulled over while you're carrying your firearm. And he said what he does is he removes it from the holster, removes the magazine, locks the action open, and places it on the dashboard. That is...
Yeah, that's a good way to get shot. The best thing to do is keep your hands on the steering wheel. For anyone listening, keep your hands on the steering wheel. If you're hitting first, know your rights. Know if you need to disclose it. If you don't, keep your mouth shut. You don't need to make the cop the officer nervous. I mean, one of the most riskiest or the riskiest part of police work. And I have a lot of friends in law enforcement. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not military either. I'm a civilian shooter. But tons of friends in law enforcement. These are the things we talk about. One of the things I always like to ask them is, what's the scariest part of your job? And almost all of them are going to say a traffic stop. But keep your hands on the steering wheel. Roll down all your windows. Keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Turn your interior lights on.
What's that?
Turn your interior lights on if it's at night.
Exactly. Let them see. Be as transparent as you can. If they ask you if you have a firearm, keep your hands on the steering wheel. Tell them where it is and let them take it off of you. The best thing you can do. You know, I mean, people are crazy. I mean, they tell me, they're like, yeah, someone will pull over, or pull somebody over, and they'll be taking the gun out. You know, like, oh, I just wanted to show you. It's like, no, the last thing a cop wants to see is a gun.
I've been pulled over a couple times while armed, and in Florida, when they run your driver's license, it'll pop up with your professional licenses.
Sure.
So they'll be able to see, okay, I'm licensed to carry a firearm. So that's the last. You know, are you armed? Now, in Florida, I'm not sure if you have to answer, but I'll always answer, yeah, you know, if I am. Yes, I have it on my right hip.
You have to, but some states you have to disclose it when you get pulled over. Like, oh, by the way, I have a gun on me.
Yeah, I'm going to say, yes, it's on my right hip. And the most often response I've gotten is, if you don't reach for yours, I'm not going to reach for mine.
That's funny, because my friend's a cop in North Carolina. He told me that's the answer. He said, you leave yours there and I'll leave mine here. And we're good.
And you know, I even go a step further, as you know, the pocket I keep my wallet in is on my left side.
Yeah, I tell them when I'm grabbing a wallet, you know, I mean, or every move you make, broadcast it, because it's scary times out there.
Especially traffic stops and domestic are the two scariest situations cops will go into. And the more at ease you put them, you know, when they come up, the easier of a time, and the more likely you might just get a warning. If you start pulling that.
If not getting shot isn't motivation enough, maybe you'll get out of the ticket too. You know.
Yeah. Just don't ever say I'm not driving, I'm traveling. Just don't ever do that. The sovereign citizen. Have you seen these sovereign citizens?
No.
Oh my God! If you want to laugh your ass off, just go to YouTube and search "sovereign citizen." It's this belief that they're not driving, they're traveling, and they're going back to the Articles of Confederation that people have the free ability to travel unhindered, and they're saying they're not operating they're not driving, they're traveling. And that the laws of the local laws don't apply. And they go on this, and it's a whole big movement.
As long as you're not on a a federal road, maybe.
Well, and they'll refuse to give their drivers, and this, a lot of these are for like simple stops, like a stop that like you have a tail light out. If you would just give the cop you pay, your shit, he'll run it. He'll either give you a fix-it ticket or tell you, all right, get it fixed right away. But these people take it to the next level. They won't roll down their windows. They'll refuse to ask questions. They'll ask for a supervisor immediately. They'll videotape it. And it just caused such a problem that they end up getting arrested instead of getting a warning.
Right.
But,
so what else grinds your gears with guns? Talk to me.
When I watch a TV show or a movie and the guy's clearly carrying a Glock and you hear him cock it.
Or revolvers never run out of ammunition.
Oh my God!
I saw you. You wanted to talk about that Facebook picture, the picture that you put up. I'll get to that. But one of the things you said about The Walking Dead that made me laugh is like, I know when you said that you noticed all the lawns are mowed and it drove you nuts.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta put yourself in my spot. I can't watch very few movies. They're getting better. But man, I watch some TV shows where there's guns involved, and just the inaccuracies of everything are insane. Like it was, I forgot what show it was. It was kind of like a Law and Order or something. They were trying to recreate a crime scene, and they're like, "Now we'll fire this gun with the blank and see where the case lands." And it's just like, okay, number one, every different round of ammunition or brand of ammunition you put in there, the case is going to land a little bit of a different place. Number two, if you fire a blank out of a standard gun, it is not going to cycle. It is not going to eject the case at all.
Well, you can load a magazine with the same ammo out of the same box that came out of the same lot, fire them off from the same position, and the casings are going to be spread out. They'll be in the same general direction because that's the direction that fucking gun ejects.
Right? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Shoot offhand so the brass kisses your face.
Right.
The one thing that got to me, I wanted to see your opinion, and not so much to get political, because so I'm not going to mention the person that did it, but the ATF's rules with the AR pistols, and is it a shoulder brace, is it a forearm brace, is for those not paying attention or not up to speed on it, you can make a pistol out of an AR platform, and it can have a brace for your forearm, but the moment you raise it up to your shoulder, it is now a short-barreled rifle, and it's illegal. So,
well, no, that's been changed. They went back. Did they change it again?
I don't know. I'm not into AR pistols. I just find I found the original, their original ruling fucking stupid.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And they actually changed it because it basically becomes an ADA thing at that point. So yes, it's a pistol. It could be fired with one hand. But if you have a hand issue, then you may need to strap it to your wrist to help support it. And these things now it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah.
Because we're after the ruling was okay, if the brace touches your shoulder, it's still a pistol. It doesn't matter how you use it, because the gun fundamentally is still a pistol. It still can be fired by one hand. It still fits the ATF definition of a pistol. So the fact that so if I take a Glock and I get a standard grip on it, right, just like I'm shooting, and then I bring my hands all the way back and rest it against my shoulder, you know what I mean? Which would destroy my shoulder the second the slide went,
Yeah.
And I fired it. I didn't create a short-barreled rifle. I just held my pistol differently.
Yeah.
So we kind of use stuff like that. And then after the ruling was changed, which was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, then all of a sudden the braces started looking more and more like rifle stocks. And then, we're kind of riding that gray area where it's completely legal, but now they start looking like rifle stocks. But if you really want to think about it, the entire short-barreled rifle thing is a complete joke anyway.
Yes.
Right? Because this is what happened in 1934 after the gangsters, and this is really when we first started seeing our crime-driven gun control on U.S. citizens, right? So being that, Al Capone and everyone else is running around with Tommy guns and things like that, which were legal, they got regulated. They try to really get everything in with that. They actually try to include handgun in the 1934 ban with machine guns, and obviously that didn't fly. So they settled for short-barreled rifle, which is really stupid. Okay, so you mean to tell me if I have a 20-inch AR-15, that's fine. If I have a 8-inch, I'm talking about the barrel length, I have a 20-inch AR-15, that's fine. I have an 8-inch AR-15, that's fine. But if I have somewhere in the middle, all of a sudden that's highly illegal and so dangerous, it needs to be classified as a machine gun, essentially. It's all covered by the same act in 1934. So medium and concealable, fine. Really big and non-concealable, fine. Anywhere in the middle, oh no, it just doesn't make any sense, But that's one of the things that we were hoping would happen in this administration, but we've lost ground. Was we really wanted to get suppressors off of that list too, because it's like saying you're not going to hear a car coming because it has a muffler. A suppressor. That's one of my big ones. If anyone asks me, is what they portray a suppressor. Most people probably wondering what the heck I'm talking about when I say suppressor.
Silencer.
The silencer is what we hear it called. And you know what? The industry kind of has a hand in that too, because it's the big company Silencer Co. So they kind of play into it too, but it's really a suppressor because it doesn't silence anything. All it does is make a center fire, a big gun, sound like a rim fire, a quiet gun, and then a rim fire sound like an air gun. So all it does is bring the sound down, but you still know a gun got fired.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's we were hoping to get that off of the class 3 is the collective term for machine gun suppressors and short barreled rifles. So we were hoping to get that off the class 3 list. We were hoping to get national reciprocity. We were going to push for SBR, short barreled rifles, to come off because it just is illogical. And all that's happened is we lost bump stocks. Way to go.
Which now what's your speaking of the bump stocks, this is something I was going to ask you about. What's your feeling and opinion on bump stocks?
My favorite meme to a bump stock that I've seen is they're the spinner hubcaps of the shooting world. And what a bump stock is you could always make a semi-automatic gun fire from its recoil. Basically, you hold your finger against the trigger really, really tight in a certain position, and then you press the gun forward, and then the recoil resets the trigger, and it'll fire again. It's not aimed fire by any means. It's just a way to make the gun basically turn a gun into a pack of firecrackers. It's good, and that's it. So bump stocks in general have zero tactical application. I mean, zero. It's a novelty. It's a carnival trick. That's really what bump stocks are.
Yep.
Now, the problem with banning a inanimate piece of plastic, and it didn't get this far, thank Christ, but it can, is when you start banning just parts of guns because of the ambiguous term rate of fire, back to that again, now you really open yourself up. I mean, there was someone in Boston that was proposing that oiling your gun would have to be done by a qualified guns. Yeah, because it would increase the rate of fire. And they had no idea what that meant. And then we were worried that it was going to include, match grade triggers, which are lighter and softer and easier to squeeze. And honestly, whenever I'm training kids, I like to give them a match grade trigger because a lot of them can't squeeze a 7 or 8 pound trigger. You give them a nice 3 or 4 pound trigger, and all of a sudden they can shoot the gun more safely, more accurately. If they're struggling to reach a trigger, quite often they're going to take the support hand, the hand that's aiming the gun, and bring it back to the trigger to try to put 2 fingers on the trigger, and that is ridiculously dangerous.
Yep.
So it didn't include any of that stuff. So I don't really care what happens to bump stocks. I was just really, really concerned with the precedent it sets.
And that's the problem. And to me, I think the manufacturers of those parts, it puts them into a weird spot because you want to make a product people are going to buy. If people are buying it, you want to make it, but at the same time, it's fucking useless.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
useless. I'll tell you the truth. I would rent one if I could. If it was still legal. Like, it's the kind of thing that I'd like to put a few magazines through it, and then it would just either go in a safe, be sold, or I would never use it again. I tell you this though, the bump stock saved a lot of lives in Las Vegas. Can you imagine if that guy was aiming?
Oh yeah.
Right, with all that round, all that time. I mean, and a 400-yard shot with a rifle is not a tough shot, especially from altitude. And you also have you kind of get 2 chances with each round, because if you miss your intended target, the ricochet is probably going to hit somebody too and still be lethal.
Yep.
It's morbid to talk about, but it's there. But I'm still looking for, I haven't looked for actually yet. Now I want to start looking for the statistic that shows how many people are actually killed by gunfire and how many were trampled to death. You know what I mean? Because they call it the deadliest mass shooting, but it wouldn't surprise me if 50%, if not more, of those people were trampled to death running for their lives. You know?
Especially at the exits.
Yeah. You know, we can't get a tickle me Elmo in this country without killing each other in a crowd. So I mean, that whole thing is so much. That's a whole nother show. But I think the bump stock thing, really, like I said, I don't care what happens to bump stocks. I have no use for them. I don't know anyone that really has a good use for them other than just a fun, like I said, carnival trick. But the precedent that it's set is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, and again, my opinion of it, the manufacturer should be like, you know what, this is fucking stupid. Let's stop making this shit. But if there's another one born every minute, so somebody's going to make them, somebody's going to buy them.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, and the manufacturers that made them, it wasn't like a big conglomerate. It was one of their products. I mean, it was like Slide Fire. That's all they did was bump stocks.
Yeah.
So, but it was legal. I mean, so it was legal, and like I said, I don't think it makes a gun any more dangerous. In fact, to some degree, it makes it less dangerous. Because once muzzle rise takes over, the rest of your magazine's going in the air. So it's pretty much an opportunity to get away. It takes a life over each bullet, in my opinion.
All right, now I'm going to give you a test on firearm knowledge.
Uh-oh.
All right, I'm going to give you the names of 2 rounds. One is true, one is a real round, one is fake. You tell me which one's which.
All right.
The first one is a 22 Irga Splitting Loudenboomer.
Okay.
The second one is 475 Chicken Choker Express. Which one's real? Which one's fake?
Oh, you're kidding me. Say the first one again.
It's a 22 Irga Splitting Loudenboomer.
Okay. And the second one is you said the 458 Chicken Choker?
475 Chicken Choker Express.
You hear my wife laughing in the background? Oh, boy. Those are good because those are both real diameters. So either one could be real. And you're telling me one actually is.
One actually exists.
I think the Loudenboomer one sounds real.
You are correct. The Irga Splitting Loudenboomer is a real round.
Okay.
It's a custom. It was made by P.O. Ackley.
Yeah. Okay.
And
it sounds like something he would dream up.
It was his. He wanted to make the fastest round. He was trying to break 5,000 feet per second.
Really?
And he was only able to get. He was only able to get just over 4,000 feet per second. Now, if you ever look up, I mean, you can Google it. I think it's got a Wikipedia page. It's a 22. It's a 22 round. I think it's like a 500 grain round. In this giant.
Grain bullet?
Yeah, I think that's what that was the size.
500 grain powder. What was the parent case? What was it built out of?
It was custom. It looks like a soda can.
Okay. Oh man, I'm gonna look it up. So 5,000, yeah. I mean, it's doable. There's a lot of guys that play that. There's somebody, and I don't know if it's real or not, but somebody necked down a 50 BMG to take a 17, and I don't know if it's real, but the pictures are floating around.
Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. It was a 50 grain bullet.
Okay. It's like 22.
The case is based on a 378 Weatherby Magnum.
Okay, yeah, it's a big boy.
Yeah. But the bullet diameter was 22.
22, yeah. It's like a light 5.56 bullet, 50 grainer.
Yeah, it's exactly. And I mean, you look at it. Actually, the picture's not here, not on the Facebook, on the Wikipedia page rather. But if you look up the picture of it, it looks like a fucking soda can with a tiny little bullet on the top.
I'll take a look. I'm not in front of a computer, but yeah, as soon as I get back, I will.
But yeah,
that's fired. That can only be fired fully semi-automatic, right?
Yeah, but it's got to be out of a 100 round magazine belt clip.
Belt clip. Clipazine.
That's one thing I was going to say is, not to be political about, but listening to some of these politicians talking about it, like what I was getting at before with the short-barreled rifles is there was a candidate for Congress who was out of Virginia who was going to destroy an AR so it could never kill again, and it inadvertently committed 2 felonies.
Yep. When he chopped the barrel off, it's like, man, you should went through the receiver first.
She chopped the barrel off and stopped there. So now she made a short-barreled rifle, which is a felony, and she was in possession of a short-barreled rifle, which is a felony.
Long Island's own in '94, Carolyn McCarthy,
It's a shoulder.
The
what,
shoulder thing that goes up.
What's a barrel shroud?
Somebody. Yeah, I mean, even if you don't know anything about guns, the phrase barrel shroud, you should have an idea. Most people can identify the barrel of a gun. Most people understand what the word shroud means, right?
Nicole's got a look on her face like, I can even figure that shit out.
You know, a shroud is something you wear over everything, you know? And she could not identify what she just signed into law to ban for the next 10 years. I mean, it's scary. And the way I always describe it is, we talk about this in our classes, especially when I have a good big group like 35 or so in front of me, and I say, is there anybody here in the medical field? And I get a show of hands. Usually there's one person at least, you know. And then I say, how good are the politicians that basically at best have a legal degree, if anything, at making medical regulations, you know? And they're like, oh God. I was like, all right, they know even less about guns. You know, and that's the sad reality that we're in. You know, but yeah, the 30 caliber ghost gun that disperses in 1/3 of a second, 300 rounds. Remember that guy?
Oh God, it's a ghost. It's a ghost gun. Okay, so in case my house gets haunted, I'm good.
My whatever year that was, there was a I work with a lot of kids, so they always throw hip hop lyrics at me. But in that same year, my biggest post was I compared that to a line in a Young Jeezy song when he said the line was carbon 15 with the 100-round drum, and I said real product, proper terminology, and then I put that whole thing with the ghost gun. I said, who do you think is making the laws? And it was it got the most engagement out of whatever year that was. It might have been 2017, but it's insane, you know. I mean,
well, Young
Jeezy making some laws here. I think you'd figure it out.
Probably. The the other one that I was amused at was it's a heat-seeking bullet.
Oh God, they you know. I mean, I don't even know where they get this stuff from. I mean, you can't even blame video games. Video games are pretty accurate today. I don't know where they get it from. I don't, you know, and part of you wonders if it's intentional misleading, you know what I mean? Because, forget it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a whole rabbit hole of a conversation, but it's scary, you know? I mean, everyone I talk to, everyone in our classes, everyone I talk to outside of that, you know, I just say, no matter what you're going to do, stay active, you know, write your letters, lobby, you know. We were down here at Patchogue, one of the Live at Fives, and you know, there was you know, picketing for, you know, anti-NRA, anti-this and anti-that, and you know, one at a time I try to grab one of them by the side, and you know, I look at their sign and I basically go right into them, you know, and I say, you know, I try to educate, you know, I try not to be too aggressive because then it's easy to dismiss everything you say, you know. So any gun owners listening to this, let me give you two things that are very important whenever you want to engage these folks in an argument. Number one, you can't make them feel stupid. They're ignorant. There's a big difference. They just don't know, you know, and their source is also a source that just doesn't know. So I asked this gentleman what he had to know was the ban assault rifle sign. And I said, tell me what an assault rifle is. And he pointed at the leg of my pants actually had an AR on those pants, you know, a printed gun. And he's like, that. And I was like, well, tell me about that. And he's like, well, it fires two rounds a second. I said, actually, it only fires one round when you squeeze the trigger, the same as a handgun. And he's like, well, what about all the guns that were banned in 94 for 10 years? I was like, there was a 3% drop in crime nationally, crime overall, not just murder, crime overall. And there was also something like a 35, check my number, but it was like something like a 35% increase in law enforcement nationally, you know? So I don't think that you can really say that the A led to B, you know? And then also after 94, the period of time, there was a period of time where as gun ownership went through the roof because now more guns were available to own, you know, murders and violent crime went down, you know, so they try to ignore that statistic. But when you talk to these people, be as gentle as possible, and you can't talk to them like a gun nut. You know, that's the important thing. Whenever we get into what's an assault rifle, the first thing that every gun owner that I know that doesn't have a lot of experience dealing with these people head on or winning them over. And I've won quite a few over from that other side. And all of our instructors are in the same game. That's one of the reasons we're in New York. If not the reason we're in New York, because we're making a difference here. But you have to understand their knowledge base is limited. So when you hear the term assault rifle, the real definition of an assault rifle was invented by the Germans prior to the AK-47, we're talking the Sterngewehr, the STG-44. The assault rifle was a portable, one-man fireable, full automatic rifle meant to storm a position. Sterngewehr is German for storm rifle. It's a portable machine gun, meaning it's portable rifle firepower that can be operated by one person. So, well, we get this, it's not an assault rifle, it's not full automatic. It's like, okay, now you're talking to these people on a technicality. And if the best you can do to back up your argument is a technicality, you're losing that argument. Talk to them in terms they understand. If you get a look at my video there on YouTube, I try to make it as easy and comprehensive as possible. Everyone understands most people understand how a semi-automatic pistol works. Most people have no issue with civilian ownership of semi-automatic pistols, the same pistols the police use and the military use. If you explain to them that a semi-automatic rifle, which is what an AR-15 is, works exactly the same as a semi-automatic pistol, you're going to gain a lot more ground. Another thing that I like to talk about is they always say, well, it's such a damaging and destructive rifle. It's not a damaging and destructive rifle. It's a damaging and destructive firearm. Rifles in general produce more power than handguns. Plain and simple. We're talking 3 times the bullet weight in many cases. Well, that's the velocity.
Well, that's the other thing that's too big of a round. The round from an AR-15 is too big of a round for civilians.
That's exactly where I was going. The AR-15, even though it's a rifle, it's going to have more energy than a pistol. It's actually a very small rifle cartridge. Most people won't even use it for deer hunting. It's that small. It's basically a varmint round. It's something you can use for prairie dogs and coyote and fox and things like that. The biggest criticism of the 5.56 round, if you talk to people in the military, especially early on, is that it's ineffective against human beings. The round has been scaled down and down and down from times of the standard issue military round. For a time of 45-70, when we're talking about something that had pretty much the weight of a 20 gauge shotgun slug. It was a very big cartridge. Teddy Roosevelt, there's the same cartridge they used on Buffalo. The Rough Rider days and things of that. Then 30-06, which has been around for more than 100 years. And I've hunted the 7 of the Big 8, whichever it is in Africa. They've taken this on safari to include elephant 30-06. Yeah. That's America's most popular hunting round. The second is 30-30, which is still effective on black bear. So you can't say that the 5.56 round is some kind of high-powered, hopped-up round when the reality is it's a really, really small rifle cartridge. So I always try to make these few points, and then get in, get out, and then you plant the seed. They do their research. They're like, oh wow, yeah, that is really small.
See, what I've been doing lately is anytime anybody wants to engage the argument, and they're that ignorant, I just don't even bother. I'm like, just because a lot of times to try and talk to somebody is they know they have their information is gospel, and even facts are wrong.
But it's so, here's the thing. You're gonna have your people that are so hell bent, that really can't be reasoned with. And that's fine. Give it a shot, and like you said, walk away. But the general public, which I think there's more people right in the middle that have zero firearms experience that are basically ripe for the pick, and they can be swung one way or the other. I think there's more people in America of just the general opinion. And those are the people that with the right conversation and the right knowledge, you're going to get them to understand what's what out there. And that's kind of like the area that I like to operate in, because you can reach those people. You can reach those people easily.
You have a hell of a lot more patience than I do. I'll give you that.
It's not easy.
I can imagine.
I saw another good one that said 100 million gun owners own 300 million guns and over 1 trillion rounds of ammunition. If we were a problem, you'd know it.
Well, that's what during World War II. Why didn't the Japanese invade the United States mainland? Because
there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass.
Absolutely,
was the saying. It was with Yamamoto's response.
Yamamoto.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, at least I didn't say Toyota. I was close.
Yeah.
But I'm big on that too. And you see that everywhere. Even internally. Like Syria. You could update the reference every few years. But we could already Venezuela. Unarmed citizens are very easy to take advantage of. and this is what you see happen over and over again.
Well,
so, I mean, the fathers,
every country that has had that type of strong dictatorship, that's where they've started. Disarm the people. Germany, disarm the people. Cuba, disarm the people.
And it makes sense tactically, because how are you going to go and round up all these people with their arms? You know what I mean? And you're seeing it's unfortunate, it's disgusting, but it's really what it's there. I always like to say, we're talking about the Second Amendment, right? I mean, the founding fathers put that pretty high up on the list, right? The first is we're going to be free, and then there's only one way to defend this. The nature of the Second Amendment was about basically holding on to what they had and ensuring that it didn't happen again. The founding fathers didn't just fend off a rampant deer population. They didn't just fend off domestic terrorism, so it is not about self-defense. It is not about hunting. The Second Amendment is about preservation in the face of your government. It was written at a time, which, by the way, you still can own cannons and the same guns, if not better, than the military was issued.
Have you seen
the whole spirit of the Second Amendment is to be able to fend off your government? And then you always get into this argument with people, and they're like, well, the military has tanks, and the military has planes, and this and that. It's like, yeah, but you know what? A dedicated ground force of civilians can really do a whole lot of damage in holding a government off at bay. And they're like, when's the last time that's happened? Vietnam. Find me a Vietnam vet and ask them how good those rice farmers did with some crude AK-47.
Yep.
Okay? So don't tell me that it can't be done. It's really something else when you deal with the Second Amendment. You deal with people who just aren't educated. And, knowledge is power. Anyone who really, really cares about their rights, you have to fight for them. And today it's pretty easy to fight for them. Knowledge is at your fingertips, just knowing where to look and making sure that you check everything from every source. I see what's going on with CNN. I like to know what I'm up against when I get into a conversation. It helps me a whole lot to know what kind of rubbish people are being fed. Just so I could reference it, and you look better too. You look more credible when you show that. It's like, hey, listen, I watch that news channel too, and here's what I'm seeing.
Have you heard Penn Jillette? You familiar with Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller?
Yeah. Oh yeah, those guys are great.
Have you heard his rant about the Second Amendment?
A long time ago, and it's funny because one of my first NRA certification, the training council, the guy who certifies instructors, he gave me a disc of materials, and on there was Penn and Teller's little rant. But it's been a long time, talking more than 8 years ago since I watched it.
Well, his biggest thing, one of the biggest arguments is that comma that's in there, that it separates the two thoughts and it's two separate things. And Penn goes on to talk about how that's the only place in the entire Constitution, the entire document, that they decided to put a pause so you could catch your breath.
Right.
I think he referred to the founding fathers as a bunch of illiterate hacks. It just, jokingly, of course, but talking about how that's the only place that they put a pause to catch your breath. No.
It's also a well-regulated militia. Okay? The firearms. The militia itself is regulated, as it should be, meaning that I can't grab you and like 100 other Americans and go invade a foreign country under the guise of, hey, you know what, we're an American militia. The militia is regulated by the laws of murder and everything else. But the equipment and the organization of that is not regulated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not talking about firearms regulation. It's saying that you can't, you're still tied to the laws of the land as a militia, right? But the firearms are not regulated. That there's no firearms regulation written in there at all. It's just completely insane.
Yep.
But if you really stare at something long enough, you can make it say whatever you want.
Yep.
The first time I read the Second Amendment, it was clear to me. Before I owned a gun, we're talking about in high school. It's like, oh yeah, we need guns.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Look what happened last time.
God, guts, and guns made America free.
That's right. So.
It looks like Facebook's kicking us off.
Oh, are they? Yeah, I figured that much.
Well, yeah, due to a poor wireless connection. Yet YouTube's got no problem.
Right.
Weird. So we'll wrap up. I'll let you go. I appreciate you calling in.
Definitely, man. It's good talking to you.
Always a pleasure, man. Next time up in town, we'll get together and throw some lead. How about that?
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good. Maybe we get a video going.
Excellent. So everybody check out Renaissance Firearms Instruction. If you're in New York, if you're on Long Island, check him out. Go take some classes. He's got Groupons. You'll save some fucking money.
Hey, thanks a lot, Nicole. Nice meeting you. Roger, great talking to you. You guys have a good time or have a good time the rest of the night.
Thanks, brother.
And, thanks for having me on the show.
All right. Take care, bro.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think Facebook gave us Das Boot.
Education is free on the internet.
That's true.
But if you want to go to a real place, hashtag not sponsored, you can take a class on the gun of your choice and how to handle it and the laws regarding it at Shoot Straight here in Tampa for starting at, why not?
Fuck Shoot Straight.
Okay, well, you can take a class specific to people under 18, specific to females and identifying as females and anybody for starting at $100 or less if you're a member. So education comes at a small price.
But check out what kind of programs they have at Shooter's World because it's a better place and they have milkshakes. I don't like Shoot Straight.
Are you sure?
Positive. 100% positive. Are you sure you're not talking about Shooter's World?
Well, I just did a bunch of research on Shoot Straight.
Yeah.
So
I don't like Shoot Straight.
Shooter's World is good. Shooter's World is good too. I have no idea about their pricing. I didn't know that they have a big selection.
Their range
of
is
stuff.
beautiful. It's clean. Monday nights, I believe, is ladies' night. So
you're talking about Shoot Straight.
No.
Oh.
Shooter's World.
Shoot Straight also has ladies' night on Monday nights.
Yeah.
And classes for kids, teens, and ladies on Tuesdays as well. So education, it doesn't cost anything to Google anything on the internet.
That is true.
So educate yourself and learn about stuff. Don't believe everything the media tells you, including us.
Yeah, believe none of it. No, believe what we say. Because if I'm wrong and somebody wants to correct me on something, absolutely, please do.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like don't believe everything the media tells you, including us. So like,
let's see, Shooter's World, women's training. See what they have to say. Maybe we do have a shitty internet connection. Here we go. Private training, introduction to handguns. They got all kinds of classes for women. They got all kinds of classes, period.
Yeah.
Definitely check out Shooter's World before you go to Shoot Straight because fuck them. It's a long story.
Oh, I was talking about Shooter's World. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. That's
See?
the one on Fletcher.
See?
Okay. Did I say Shoot Straight?
Yes.
Okay.
Fuck Shoot Straight.
My first experience with a handgun was at Shoot Straight, so in my mind it's ingrained. And one time I called Shooter's World asking them about something, and it was like, oh yeah, I just wanted to call Shoot Straight, and she was like, you mean Shooter's World? And I was just, or whatever she said, and I was just like, yeah, I'm so sorry. And she's like, it's okay, people get us mixed up all the time.
Yeah, one's good and one sucks.
I meant Shooter's World. So yes, but yeah, starting at $100, you can take a class, and like I said, if you have a membership there, is cheap. And I realized that you can have a membership there for $300 a year or $400 for your whole family. And that means you get free range time for a year.
And it's a beautiful range. It's well ventilated. It's clean. It's well lit. They have milkshakes.
How's their sound? Like, is it very loud in there? Obviously, it's loud because
you're wearing ear protection.
Right. But I've been some places that it's just super loud.
It's not bad.
Okay, because like they don't have like, I don't know, insulation on the walls or something.
It's not. I mean, you hear it's gunshots, but theirs is set up really nice. So if you're in the lounge area,
yeah,
you can hear the shots, but it's not that loud.
Okay.
When you're in the range on the line, it's kind of loud.
My point is that you can go a lot of places and educate yourself for not a lot of money. And I know that specifically I've called them asking them a few questions about other things, and they're always very helpful there too.
Okay.
So
that's good.
Yeah. Always do your research on everything. Don't just believe. I'm not telling you specifically, Roger. I'm telling everybody listening. Don't just believe anything anybody tells you.
Yeah. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up tonight. Nicole, give us a quick fire off of your calendar.
You can catch me this Friday, go dancing at Gaspar's Grotto in Ybor City, Tampa. You can catch me belly dancing at South Tampa Acropolis Greek Taverna at 7:00. That whole thing starts at 7, and I'll be at Gaspar's at 10. On Saturday, please go to Gaspar's Grotto to see Kay, Tulamiu, and Lorena. dancing as bumblebees, #save the bees, and Miss Holly Havoc and myself will be performing at Lust in St. Pete. I will also be belly dancing at Acropolis in St. Pete. Oh, and to this Thursday, the day after tomorrow, I will be at NYKL doing an Ora Loca one night in Rio. So you can catch me with all the feathers. Next week, Wednesday is nothing. Next week, Wednesday at Bellagio, Balloons Are Cool and Holly Havoc and company will be hosting a balloon jam. So if you have children, please come to it. There's also, I will be bartending.
What day is that?
That is Wednesday, August 21st. They're having a balloon jam. There are going to be several balloon twisters. JJ Zazbo is going to be teaching some workshops and some other things like that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I will not be able to go to that.
Okay.
As much as I'd want to.
Okay.
Because that night I will be portraying the lawyer for the Hot Mess show.
Oh, that's right. That's also that night, which I will not be attending,
That's
unfortunately, because I really wanted to watch that.
That's okay. I'm not going to go to yours. You don't come to mine.
I don't know.
I will be portraying the lawyer for the Hot Mess show. So come on that. I got to figure out what kind of stuff. Oh, I want to talk to you about the costume.
Okay.
Aside from that, I had something else booked up. I can't remember what the fuck it was. I'm sure you'll find out about it soon enough. Yeah, and I'll be probably making a return to New York in November. We'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. Yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in. Sorry the feed dropped out. I don't know if you're still watching on YouTube. We got a couple viewers over there. Anyway, we do this every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate you tuning in. Nicole, what you got to say?
Fubar out.